I am recording now. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Think Ribbon, the podcast where we talk about the things that we think about. I am your host, Kai Morgan, joined once again by the lovely Diamond.
Hope you're all well.
Cool. So, I got a cookbook for Christmas, and I'm very excited about it. It's actually, Vegan at Times, and this is Jerry Seinfeld's wife.
Oh, okay, cool.
Wrote it, and I'm not a vegan, but I am a vegetarian. So literally after we record this, I'm going to the store to get the stuff I need to make Indian spiced lentils and rice.
Oh, it rhymes as well.
Oh my god, Indian curry.
But so do you like curry in general, or is that just just the first thing you found?
I love curry. Oh no, I've bookmarked a whole bunch of recipes, but
okay.
In Metal Gear Solid 4, who says it? Naomi says, the secret to good cooking is to keep who's going to eat it in mind. And this is a very important thing for cooking because you can make the most amazing, fish plate. But if someone doesn't like fish, they're not going to like it.
Yeah, that's very, very true.
So, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of people who cook for their spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend, and then they get mad when they don't like it. And it's like, well, did you even check what they like first?
Yeah, well, the trouble is my dad, he will literally eat anything as long as it's spiced. So my mum's had no problems ever. Or you normally get these dishes where it's like, oh, what do we need to eat? What needs to get rid of? And then we just chuck it in a pot, add some chili, add some curry powder, boom, there's a curry.
Well, it seems like curry is more common in the UK than it is in the US.
Yeah. Lovely Ruby Murray.
You talk about it a lot. And I'm just we have to go really out of our way to get curry. I mean, just finding the ingredients to make it. I had to go to 4 different grocery stores to see who had the gram masala or the curry powder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I don't know. I feel very strongly about cooking, and I think there's certain skills that we used to just know, and now people are so impressed by, but it's basic things like cooking or sewing or gardening. These are things that you should know how to do. Do you cook? Do you know how to cook?
Yeah, I was brought up cooking with my mum. She didn't teach us. It was really weird. No one actually taught us. We just kind of watched and did. That makes sense.
No, that's exactly what happened to me. So my dad was an actual chef. He went to cooking school and all that stuff, and he just liked being by himself in the kitchen, and I like to watch him cook, so I would just hang out in the kitchen and watch him. And then I went to college, and then I was like, I know how to cook. How did I learn how to cook?
Spaghetti bolognese. There we go. We can make it.
But yeah, that's a good thing to know, especially if you're a parent. Your kids may not look like they're learning anything or observing, but they are taking in everything like a sponge. Everything you do, everything you say, which can be good or bad. But
put it this way, I knew someone who I asked if they can make me a cuppa while they were on their break, and they were like, "How do you make that?" And I was just like a
cup of tea.
You don't know? Yeah, I was just like.
You heat up water, put the bag in it.
Yeah. They were like, oh, but I don't cook. And I was like, that's not cooking, it's brewing.
No, the people who...
It genuinely shocked me.
No, yeah, I try to understand the people who do nothing but eat out or order, takeout, and I'm just like, how are you not bankrupt? Do you know how much money you save when you cook at home? Plus, again, it's a skill. Okay, so for you... If you were to invite me over and I said, Diamond, cook me something, what would be your, go-to dish?
Something I'm really good at?
Yeah, something that you're I know I can make this, I'm going to make it good. He'll I like everything, by the way, so.
Well, you don't eat meat, no so meat. It's if you ate meat, it would be homemade burgers.
You can sell...
a mean burger.
Yeah, I'm big on the plant-based meats.
Vegan corn, so I could do that.
Works for me. Perfect.
But I make a good paella. I'm good at that. I don't use paella rice because I always mess it up. I just use normal rice. So it's paella with normal rice, I'm afraid. I know that will hurt people. Paella?
That's one of the recipes in this book too. And I was like,
I don't know what it is. I'm actually quite surprised by that. So it's basically a Spanish rice dish and you have chicken, prawn and chorizo in it. or chorizo, as people like to call it. It's chorizo, okay?
Well, I know it as chorizo.
Chorizo. No, because my accents are very racist.
No, you're fine. I'm just like, I don't know. I get made fun of so much because.
Oh,
like,
I didn't mean it like that.
No. Like when I pronounce certain like Mexican Spanish words, I grew up like I don't say enchilada, I say enchilada, or like
that's fine, though.
Tomatillo or whatever. So like people make like, oh, enchilada.
I was just doing my bad impression of it because I'm horrible at accents.
No,
like I'm terrible.
So if I was to invite you over, do you like shrimp?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I should clarify. I'm a pescatarian, but like just a little bit. Like I mostly whatever, but yeah.
Is shrimp to you what we call prawns? So prawns are like baby shrimp.
In America, shrimp and prawns are like the same thing. Like we just refer to them as like size, so like small shrimp, large shrimp.
Yeah.
And if it's really big, then we call it a prawn. But you usually only see that at like Chinese restaurants.
We always call it prawns, but I've always thought shrimp are like the ones with the shell on, the large ones.
So if I say shrimp, how big is that? Like in your country, just the shrimp?
I would say like the big ones, like that big. But like prawns are the like tiny little ones you get in a prawn cocktail.
Okay, I'm more confused than before I asked the question.
I'm gonna have to let me Google it and show you because it's just gonna annoy me.
Okay, well, while you Google it, I will describe the dish that I would make. It's
Yeah, sorry. Go.
You found it already?
Yeah. Well, I got good internet. So that is like a prawn.
Oh, yeah, that's shrimp here.
Okay.
Prawns are really big.
So I would assume that this was shrimp. The ones like that. They're bigger.
No. We never do the head on. Okay.
I don't.
The British American thing, like you guys have taught me so many things.
I think that's just a prawn thing.
Okay, so shrimp or prawn or whatever. I don't know what the fuck to call it now, but
I like it.
So I don't know what you would call it. It's sort of like a shrimp lemon pasta. But what I do is I've got two pots. One is for cooking the pasta and one is for cooking everything that goes in the pasta. So I lay out crushed garlic in olive oil and let it like saute and get really fragrant. And then I add the shrimps and then I put a lot of salt and pepper and then red chili flakes and I cover it and I let that simmer. Oh, and lemon juice. And then I cook spaghetti, and then right before it's done, I add like a shit ton of spinach, which a lot of people don't know you could do this. You put the spinach on top of the shrimp, and it cooks it down, and it makes it really nice. And then you mix it all together and put it on top of the pasta. Delicious, so good.
The only thing about that I don't like is lemon, but I like to try new things, so I would definitely try that. The only thing about lemon I don't like, it's like if it's overwhelmingly lemon, that's my issue. If it's like a hint, I don't mind. Lemon and thyme, I don't mind that.
You'd be surprised because I had a lot of lemon juice and like unless I add salt, you can't taste it. It's like
yeah.
Oh my God.
I make a good carbonara as well, but I could do it sans the ham.
Yeah, I want to learn how to make that, but it's weird.
From scratch, it's a bit harder, obviously, but you could buy pre-made sauces.
Well, something for the Ink Ribbon viewers who care. For the last year and a half, maybe 2 years, on the back burner, I've been writing a cookbook. I want to call it the Resident Evil Cookbook, but unless I get Capcom's legal permission, I'm going to have to call it like the Ink Ribbon Cookbook, but it's basically all like Resident Evil recipes, and the reason it's taken me so long is because you would be surprised how hard it is to come up with recipes. Like, I know that they say like anyone can write a cookbook, which is why I'm trying, but oh my God. And then trying to like make it go with the game, but I've got like a whole bunch of stuff. I love cooking. Like, I think it's like a really creative, useful thing, you know? Like, I love feeding my friends, like watching people enjoy my food. Cause like right before this, I had literally sardines on toast and it looked disgusting. Most people would probably just be like, ew, but that's me cooking for me, where it's like whatever, I just need to eat.
It's more that it's just sardines.
Well, really good for
I
weight
love
loss,
tuna.
but
Love tuna.
I can't eat sardines if anyone's home because like they like
It's like that episode of SpongeBob where he's got the really bad breath. He's like,
I'm sorry. I hope my ugliness doesn't bother you. Oh my god.
I love SpongeBob. I'm so surprised by how many people know it. Like different ages. Like everyone watched that.
Yeah, you either did or you didn't, and if you got that, then you're cool.
Yeah.
You're cool enough.
I can't. Whenever I hear the word chocolate, I go chocolate. I have to.
Welcome to my world.
I was going to say that's it. Do you like tuna? What's your thoughts on tuna?
What, like canned tuna or like sushi tuna?
Canned. I don't really eat sushi tuna. I don't eat raw fish.
Canned tuna, it's okay. I'm very particular about how it's prepared, but also like canned tuna is not the healthiest thing. That's why I go for the sardines. Cause
is it not? I thought tuna was like on
Tuna has a lot of... Well, okay, I'm about to go full hippie, but the number one problem I have with it is even if it says dolphin safe, there's a very good chance that they've killed some dolphins getting it. They've probably also killed some sea turtles. They end up catching a lot of things that they didn't mean to catch, and then they die, and then it's like, oh well, like we still gotta do the tuna. And then also it has a ton of like mercury and some other stuff, and like it's farmed fish, so it's got antibiotics. It's just... I would personally recommend not doing canned tuna. Like, that's, again, why I do the sardines. It's just, And you can do your own research and find that out for yourself. You don't have to listen to two people on the internet.
I take your word for it. Yeah, we don't really have, like, as far as I'm aware, like, dolphin-safe tuna. But I don't think that's a thing.
Yeah, it's a lie. Like, anything that says dolphin-safe or open... what is it? Free range chicken? Like none of that is real.
Yeah.
At least in America. I don't know about your country.
We get non-caged chickens. Is that free range? But it's called something caged.
Just know that there's technicalities that like it makes it sound like good, and like when you look at the reality, it's like, oh, ew. But I don't know. I think the UK is better about it, but in America, not so much. There's a reason I don't eat meat, okay? It's not just like whatever, but...
Well, I eat a lot of meat. That's why I try to go for fish now and then. And I'm like obsessed with tuna at the moment. I have it with cheese. I drink it with potatoes. Oh my god. Just a bit of salt and garlic and mayo in there. And just,
no,
perfection.
That's... Yeah. Like, when I was in Japan, one of my favorite rice cakes, which are like the little triangle ones, they're filled with like things, and one of the ones that I love was tuna mayo, because their mayo is different. Japanese mayonnaise is like it's its own thing. You have to try it if you ever get the chance.
What's it called? Like Kewpie mayo. I bought some from my Oriental store.
Yeah,
I've been wanting to make the whole like salmon thing from TikTok, where it's rice salmon with the seaweed sheets, and then you eat it together with the Kewpie mayo. I've been trying to do it, but like everywhere you look for the seaweed sheets, they're in bulk buy, and I don't want to get like 20 packets.
Oh, see, I could totally do that. I could just make like a shitload of rice cakes and just like, well, that's also a lot of carbs.
Well, it's just me that eats it. My family aren't really, or they like Asian food, but they're not like fussed on sushi and seaweed wraps like I am.
Oh, speaking of food, I'm very excited because right now it's a limited time promotion, but KFC is doing vegan chicken.
Yeah, I looked at that this morning. Oh my god,
it's so good. I've had it like 3 or 4 times.
But it looks like an eraser. It looks like rubbers.
Well, here's the weird thing. So we saw someone review it, and he was like he could not bite it. It was like rubber. And he's like, this is disgusting, I can't eat it. And then I saw someone else and they were fine. And then someone else and they were fine. And then we tried it twice, and both times it was great. But the third time, it was rubber. Like, I literally could not, like, I was like, and like trying to like rip a piece off. And I was like, what the hell? So I think if you don't get it fresh, it's really bad.
Yeah.
But it's the closest to like chicken I can have, like, because I miss fried chicken and chicken wings so much.
Have you not seen the method where you basically use like water and flour, and you get the starch out of it and it turns into like chicken?
No, I've seen that, but that's
amazing.
Too much work. There's also another one where they take a block of tofu and then they soak it in, I think, chicken. No, you freeze it first, and it ends up like it creates the sheeting effect that like chicken has, where you like rip off the meat, and then you soak that in like chicken or vegetable stock, and then like rip it apart and then it becomes like chicken. I've never tried it, but like it's crazy what the vegan people have come up with. Like meat-free stuff has come a long way.
Like, if there's meat-free alternatives and it tastes just as good, I'm definitely, like, down for it. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, I have to eat meat. We need meat to live in this world. No, we don't.
Yeah, no. And I'll never, like, I really do my best to not tell people what to eat because it's my choice to not eat meat. But if you want to, you know, I just tell people to do their research. But anyway.
Yeah.
Moving on from that, what other skills do you have, if any?
So it kind of stemmed from college. I loved creative writing. I didn't really got good grades, but getting good grades in creative writing, believe it or not, is hard because there is a criteria, even though it is creative. Honestly, the arguments I have with my teachers in college is just like, I don't understand why there's a criteria. Aren't you meant to just put your like brain onto page and then that's it? And they were like, no, you have to like.
Oh, is it like the formatting and all that? I hate that.
Grammar, obviously, but like it has to be top-notch grammar, and you have to use grammar that you wouldn't normally use to show that you can use grammar. And then you should use like a high vocabulary and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, but if it's a casual story, I'm not going to use really big words, am I? Like, it has to make sense. But they were like, no, it's not good enough. And I had a breakdown in college. Don't know if you know, but yeah. I was literally in class just cried like, I don't understand, get it.
No,
but yeah, apart on from that, I took creative writing and I kind of started writing my own things of like on the side. Not that I'm necessarily going to like publish them or anything like that, but for me it's like an unwinding thing. I like to sit there and get into like someone else's world that's better than mine.
No, but that's a really good thing because like someone who may not understand could just dismiss it as like, oh, you like write stories, like whatever. Yeah. But there's so many different avenues that you could take that. Like, you know, indie games need stories.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, or someone could write a script for something and then be like, I don't know if this is good. Could you look over it? And, you know, you with your imagination and your ability to write those stories can look at it and go, oh, this character would be so much better if they did this. And like, you know, there's a lot of stuff that you can do that doesn't necessarily, like, people have to like really think outside the box, especially now in this world we're living in where your college degree doesn't even mean anything, you know, like there's a lot of stuff. Like there was this news article I saw of this girl who she became a ghostwriter. And she was making like $800,000 a year or something crazy. Like she wrote a dog for a book. She wrote a book for a dog. So, okay, what she did was, you know how people have like famous pets? Like Grumpy Cat or whatever? She'll literally like, they'll just give her a certain amount of information and be like, just write a book. And she doesn't get credited, but she gets paid. And she said she could not keep up with the demand. So like...
I do miss having criteria work, believe it or not, you know, from the breakdown I had. But I do miss being like, oh, this person, I need to write this and this and this, because it makes you creative. Whereas it's like, oh, do whatever you want. It's like, well, no, if you do whatever you want, it could just be the exact same thing, just in a different setting, or exact same setting, different people. That's the only issue with things like that. If you're given like guidelines, it's much more fun. Like I wrote a piece, we had to write a story where you couldn't tell where the point of view was from, and you didn't give any like, you didn't say, oh, this is me, I'm this person. You had to write a story from an inanimate object, and I wrote as a pair of shoes on a shoe rack, and I had like Nancy the Nike and like Ursula the Ugg boot, like stuff like that. I'm actually really proud of that story. It's one of the things that I would show people if they wanted to see what I did. I did one where I was my starter coming out to play, my memorial bench one. So I had to write about this lady that would come sit on me and talk about how she missed all her husband who passed away and stuff like that. But it would be weird because I would describe like a kid sitting on my lap, and it got weird. I was like, right, I'm gonna have to change that because it got a bit odd. But yeah, it was really those sort of things, like they really challenge you and it brings out something that you don't think that you have.
Maybe one day you can help me with one of my games then, because like
be on it.
Literally what I do is I'll think of something and be like, oh, that'd be really cool for a game, and I'll just write it in my like Trello board like as an idea and just put it away, and like I literally just write one sentence of like a character who does this or you know, whatever. So good to know.
I mean, I'm all down for it. I mean, you'd have to give me guidelines because at the moment I'm writing erotica.
Ooh,
I don't know if you want that. There are so many ways you can call a penis a penis.
Yeah, that's a big thing with erotica that I couldn't imagine as a writer, is just having to, because if I was writing erotica, I would just be like, he put his dick in her pussy. Yeah, like they're like, why? Like,
you can't say the word pussy unless you want to have that theme throughout the whole thing. Oh, do you know what it's like to read a book and you're like really into it and it's like, oh yeah, I put it in a pussy, and it's like right.
That's what I want to read. I mean
maybe
allegedly.
from a male perspective, but like when you're writing stuff like that, you almost don't say that word. You say everything for the other, like for the penis and that, but like for some reason that word just doesn't come out. It's really weird. I'd have to like show you it one time.
It's not misogynistic to say it, is it?
Oh no. No.
That's what I call it. I have a problem with that word like a long time ago. I remember thinking it was very dirty and like almost degrading or mean, but like so many women referred to it as that I just got on board, and now I'm like, all right. I
mean, I don't personally use it. I have read books with it in, but I don't like the use of it, so that's just my opinion. I basically read 50 Shades of Grey and went, this is shit, I can write better, and then wrote a story, which, like, you know, the story I think is better, but I maybe might not be up there grammatically. That is my only issue, is like I'd have to hire someone to go through my story and make sure that I didn't make any mistakes, because that was the one thing that I would get caught up on. Like, it all makes sense, but that comma needs to be there and that comma needs to be there.
Have you ever thought of publishing? Because you can self-publish like on Amazon Books now, and people do it all the time. Like, even if you just sell them for like $1 or something, like I can't tell you how many times I've been traveling or somewhere and like women are on their Kindles or their Amazon little thingies, and I'm always like, I wonder if they're reading porn. Because like men watch porn, women read porn. Apparently, that's what I've come to like understand.
Yes, especially for very visual. Like I'm very, very visual. I have like, if you could tell me a book that I read, I would automatically imagine the rooms that I imagined them having. It's really weird. Like I really create the place in my head. It like I don't think everyone can do that. So I've said it to people before, and they're like, no, I just read the words on a page. I'm like, so what, you don't sit there and like draw them in your mind and like, you know, you start seeing things around you in your head. They're like, no.
Well, so there's a thing that's semi-recently been discovered called aphantasia, I think. And there's people who do not, so if I tell you to picture an apple in your head, you can see an apple, you know, it's either red or it's green or whatever. There are people who can't do that. They cannot imagine things, like literally physically incapable of imagining things. So like, if you tell them like, oh, there's a horse running in a field, they're like, yeah, and like they can't picture it. So I imagine people like that. I'm sure there's probably levels to it, but when I found out about that, I was like, oh god, that would suck, because like I'm the same as you. I'm always imagining stuff in my head, like for games or for, you know, art or whatever, and that's so sad.
Well, there's another thing as well with that. Apparently people don't read the words in their head as they read. They just kind of take it in.
Oh,
that's another thing.
I don't read anymore. I haven't read in so long. I'm trying to think what I do.
So here's an example. The interest rate on your mortgage is going up. If I was to be here right now, if I was to read that, I would like say the word, like the voice in my head would say it as I'm reading it.
Oh yeah, I don't do that.
I wouldn't just look at the words
like
that.
So
like if I'm reading something that's not a story, then maybe, but
if you could hear my brain reading, like I'm just looking at this recipe, like bring a large pouch of how much is salt and pasta cook for humanity's hair. Like that's how my brain reads
the
things.
main words.
Like it's just like blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I read through things very quickly and skim like for important information. I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's freaking me out. Like that's
what I mean. It like people aren't realizing how they do things is
like
different
reading
to
like
everyone
Trisha
else.
Paytas.
Do you know what? She is not a treasure, but she is something else because I don't get how she
she's a troll that knows what she's doing. Like,
no, I generally think there's something wrong with her because.
Well, yeah, but
she has to be at least a pathological liar at once because these people make compilations on TikTok of her saying one thing and then literally being like, "Oh no, I don't know what that is," and then.
Yep. No, and that's her art is. She's gotten people convinced to the point that no one knows when she's being real or not. And she's a fucking millionaire for it. So, but that's the thing you have to weigh is she's rich and she's quote unquote successful, but she's completely destroyed her reputation and no one will ever believe anything she says ever again. So you got to weigh that, But anyway, I don't want to be bad mouthing YouTubers. Like, I don't like the drama.
I don't think that was bad mouthing. I think that was just truthful.
No, I'm not big on drama, but there's 2 channels that I watch. One of them is a girl, I don't know how to say her username, Izzy. She does like clown makeup and she just goes over like kind of like old internet things that happened, whether it's like brony related or like games from the 2000s, and just like deep dives into these like internet worlds and things that happened that I had no idea about. Like, for example, the anime or the fandom of Gundam Wing or whatever, they are so rabid that there was actually like harassment suits and like they came after voice actors and producers and tried to like take over, like literally the fans tried to take over the series legally. Like, it was crazy. So she teaches me all about that stuff, and I still don't know why she does like clown makeup, but it's cool. And then there's another girl who does it's Cruel World Happy Mind, and that's how I learned about Trisha Paytas' entire thing. Same with like Gabby Hanna. She like breaks it down, so I get my drama in like little digest forms from other YouTubers that I'm like, this is a palatable way for me to do this without having to go down an internet rabbit hole and fuck up my recommendations.
I watch a video every now and then because I follow T-Spill. They kind of follow like the relevant YouTubers at the time. It's the sort of thing. So sometimes I come up with someone I have no idea who they are. I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm getting old.
Yeah, well, that's what I'll do is like I'll see someone I don't know and just hear what they have to say about it, and then I'm just like, oh my god, the things that go on in that house.
Side note, I love Gabby Hanna's music. Just to put that out there, it's sick.
I'm sure she'd be very happy to hear that. I bet she's a fucking sociopath.
Well, I still haven't decided whether I like her as a person or not. I'd have to meet her in person to truly know, because the internet is full of lies and full of truths at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know. When the whole drama happened with her, what made me go, okay, something's not right here, is when Rosanna Pansino jumped in, because she does not do drama. She's like one of the nicest people. She does like baking stuff.
Oh, I
think they call her Ro. But anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So I think there's like people sent in questions or something.
Oh yes. I'll look for you. Right. This is from Linessa Black. Please tell us something about your time in Japan, Kai.
Oh. My time in Japan. Well, the first episode I already talked about when I was homeless. That's with Lisa. You guys will hear all about that, or I guess by the time this airs, you already have watched it. Okay. If you're a woman in Japan, you're not allowed to live on the first floor. Diamond, can you guess why? It's Japan.
No, do I want to know why? That's the question here.
So in Japan, everyone air dries their laundry by hanging it outside. And guess what the number one stolen article of clothing is?
Underwear.
It's so bad that they will literally steal your panties if you like are hanging them out, and they'll like look through your window. So they are like, women are not allowed to live on the first floor. And in the mornings, there are train cars specifically women only, because train perverts are such a big thing, to the point that I've even been groped and molested by train perverts. Like, it's a fucking problem over there. I don't know if it still is. They're called Chikan. And like, there's literally signs posted like, watch out for Chikan. It's like the weirdest thing. And then like I cannot emphasize how packed in to the trains you can get when it's rush hour. Like you're literally like
I've been on a tube before. Like just I guess it's not. Yeah.
No, you're like this, and if the train was to crash, you would not move because there's nowhere to fall or go. But when you're in those situations, you'll feel things poking you, and then you have to play the fun game of, is it like an umbrella? Is it a bag? Is it a penis? Is it a hand? Like, I've had all of the above. I even had a girl put her boobs on me, and girls are really aggressive in Japan, like sexually, but we'll save that for another, because that's a whole different episode, but
yeah. I've been on the tube in London and that got really packed, but I didn't have a creep on me. No, of course not. I had a creep. I say that like I'm insulted. I had a creep.
Like, are these not good enough for you?
Come back. So they fancied my friend because she's my friend who's, well, we were not friends, but we've been messaging really recently, so you never know what's going to happen. But like, she's very glamorous looking. Like when she goes out regardless of where she's going. She looks lovely. Mm-hmm. So she gets a lot of attention, like a lot of guys looking at her. I'm fine with it. Like that doesn't bother me. I'm not like an insecure best friend or anything like that. But this guy, so she was sat opposite me. This guy stood next to me, really close, and I was like, "Oh God, like, don't talk to me." So he shows me his phone, and I'm like, "Oh God, please don't be a dick pic." I look at it, and it says, "Your friend is really fit." I was just like,
"Oh."
I looked at him and went, yeah, cool. And then he went, "Is she single?" I was like, I shook my head like, no. And then he said something that was like roadman talk. I didn't really understand it. And I told her after, as he was leaving, he showed me his phone again, and it said, "You can tell her now I'm going, bye." And I was like, okay. He left, and my friend was looking at me like, what the hell just happened? I don't know.
You're like, he said you were ugly. He was so rude.
Me, but he couldn't be with me because I was too pretty.
That's such a like cop out. Like one thing I've learned as a guy, like when you approach a woman, don't go to her friend, don't like pass a note, like just walk up to her and say hello, and like, you know, because no one wants to do the whole like, my friend thinks you're cute. Like, yeah, I'm sorry.
It doesn't work. It really doesn't. Like, I won't lie, I felt shit when it happened, but I wasn't like, oh my God, he's my best friend. Like, I wouldn't be like that. Because, like, that's life. If someone's pretty, someone's pretty at the end of the day.
Well, you're very pretty, so don't worry about it.
Oh, stop it. Let me go tell my best friend about that. Right. Then we got next. Which one is your favorite Resident Evil, and who will take you if you are stranded in an island? Oh, there's two questions here, sorry. What is your favorite Resident Evil? I'm guessing is the first one. And then
this one. The Resident Evil 2.
And who from Resident Evil would you take with you if you were stranded on an island? Like, who do you hope
Claire,
would be there?
Duh.
I mean, I'm thinking more resourceful.
No,
like,
that's what I mean. Like, aside from the whole ponytail Claire's hot thing, I know that she would help, and she wouldn't just like mooch off of me. Like, we'd have jobs, and I could like assign like, okay, you do this, I'm gonna do that, we're gonna like get through this together, and she'd be like, okay.
Obviously, procreate, you know.
That too. We gotta repopulate the island. I mean,
if that was the case, it'd probably be Crystal Lane for me.
I mean, I'm gonna get stretch marks, but we gotta do what we gotta do, you know.
Right. What are, in your guys' opinions, the best and worst Resident Evil games? In our opinion, just state that.
Well, I already said best is 2, in my opinion. I don't know about worst, because we've had a bad history of hating Resident Evil games way more than they deserved, and then appreciating them later.
Yeah, that's very true. Although, not saying it's the worst, I wanted to play Outbreak for all ages, and then I did play it and I didn't enjoy it. But that doesn't mean it's the worst one. But for me, that's why. I mean, don't tell that to Corey or Rob; they'll get offended.
No, you need to play. We need to play Outbreak sometime, and you'll have.
Yeah, I promise. I think I'll have fun eventually.
But I actually know where I'm going in that game, whereas everyone else is just running around like, "What do we do?"
But then you'd be like, "Where is she? I'm on the 3rd floor. I'm on the 6th floor."
We're at the end of the level. Where are you?
Like, I'm at the start. Help.
She's like, "How do you open the door?"
I'm not that bad. I'm good at gaming, I swear. No, that's probably the least playable one for me, but like the worst one.
Probably Umbrella Corps, if that counts.
What, Umbrella Corps?
Yeah, like the shooter game.
What, the one you can play as co-op though?
I don't know. I guess it's like multiplayer online.
Is it the one where you can let Leon and Claire live or die?
No, that's Operation Raccoon City. Umbrella Corps is the one that has no story, no like faceless characters, and you're literally, it's like just running around and shooting people like Call of Duty, like, or CS:GO or whatever, one of those games.
Probably that, because Operation Raccoon City was brilliant. I played that with Rob. That was really fun.
Yeah, see, that's a game I want to go back to, because I'm like, I think I was too hard on this. I actually ordered an HDMI splitter so that I can stream from my PS3 again, but
okay,
we'll see if
let me know. We can play it together. It's fun. Yeah, and I've got we bought the weapon package because it was so fun. We got all the DLC.
I bought that like collector's edition when it came out. I was disappointed at the time, but it's okay now. Anyway.
Well, then again, I haven't played the other one that I'm saying is the worst. I just know about it. I'm trying to think of the one that I've played fully and thought, wow, this is awful. But I don't think I genuinely hate. I mean, Reverse. Does that count?
Well, who knows what it's gonna be when it comes back? I'm
sure. Out, is it?
If it does come back.
There isn't really one that I've gone, oh, I just don't want to play that. I don't like it. It's the worst. There isn't one like that.
It's because Resident Evil is the best series ever. So, like...
I mean, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Zero. People absolutely just, like, hate that game. I absolutely love Zero because I grew up with it.
I don't know. Zero's okay. It's just, like... It's, like more. Like, we need more. Do a flip.
If they... do a backflip. If they had an item box, the standard of the game would just skyrocket. That's 100%. Like,
yeah,
I will agree with the comments on that 100%. But the whole with the hook gun and letting that maybe soft locking you, like that's the whole point of Resident Evil, is to soft lock and have to start again. Like that's the point. Is you learn, you live. No, you live and you learn. God. Yeah, I don't really have a worst. If I'm honest, really don't.
Okay.
If he's on like worst gameplay style, then
that's.
Oh, I mean like controls. I hate Resident Evil 4 controls and 5 with a passion. Like whenever I go back to them after playing the newer games, I'm like, I can't do it. I have to do it for a long time.
Yeah, I guess it is hard to go from 4 to 5 because like they slightly move the controls around and then you're like, oh wait, and you're pushing the wrong buttons.
Yeah.
So I can understand that.
Right, what's the next one? Any good ideas? Oh, sorry, I haven't like given people credit. Sorry, this is yogurt flavors munchkins. That's the credit there. Beautiful. Any good ideas on knowing the right music soundtrack to use for your videos without having to deal with copyright strikes?
To avoid that, I just use like video game music that I know. Like, unless, like, the worst thing that could ever happen to my channel is Capcom deciding to, like, monetize or do copyright for, like, music that was in Resident Evil games or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I use music from, like, Sonic, from, like, Super Nintendo games, Stardew Valley, Resident Evil. It just depends on what, like, I listen for video game music. I'm like, oh, that's a good song. And, for, like, certain emotions or certain kind of vibes. And, yeah. Most video game music is not copyrighted. Just be careful with Nintendo. Fair
enough. I can't really answer that question. Yeah. What's your favorite movie?
Probably Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It's with Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. and they're like spies, but they're like married to each other and they don't know that the others are spies. It's such a good, like,
that one, yeah.
I know it's not like an Oscar-winning movie, but like it's so sexy and it's like got like action and like, oh, I love it.
What's the one? Oh my god, that's reminding me of a film now. It's got, oh, I don't know the actors' names, but basically she marries this guy, and he is like, it's got Brain has gone dead. Oh my god. There was a kid there.
There's this movie about this guy and the other guy, and then one of them dies.
Kutcher in it. Ashton Kutcher.
Okay.
And a blonde woman. She's from The Ugly Truth. I know that for sure. And he is a like special. What's it called? Like in the FBI, like what's it called when you do things undercover, like assassinate people? Agent. That's it. Secret agent. And they get married, and then suddenly like the neighbors are after them, and she finds out all the stuff, and like she starts to like look out for each other, and it's really good. It's like really sexy, like you said. That's why it reminded me of it, because
I don't know that one.
I have to find it. Oh my god, it's really bugging me now.
Well, I've like if Ashton Kutcher was in it, I would know.
Secret Killer.
Okay, I haven't seen
it.
Oh
my god. But that just reminded me of it. Sorry, I'm going
right, neither of us have seen each other's favorite movies, so there you go. Perfect.
It wasn't my favorite, but it's like a top one. I can't.
It's hard to pick a favorite movie. It really is.
Right. For Kai, I want to know. Sorry, this is by the Greens. Oh my god, I'm awful at this. I want to know what makes you want to go to art school. Is it because of a hobby or something else? Thank you.
So I took a year off after high school because I just was like, I don't know what I want to do, and I didn't want to go to college and just end up in something that I didn't want. Plus I was like living in Japan and all that. So I was like, you know what, if I'm going to get a degree in something, I want it to be something that I enjoy. So I went to school for video game art, and art school was fun, but it was also a fucking huge waste of money. Like, I kind of regret going to school, and not that I'm saying don't go to college, but like it's hard.
Choose wisely.
But you know, go to school. Don't, like, your parents want you to be a lawyer or a doctor. Like, don't listen to what anyone else wants. Do what you want to do. It's your life. Don't end up in a career that you hate. So if you want to go to school for creative writing or video game art or, you know, bondage, whatever, like whatever makes you happy, just make sure that, you know, that's what you want to do and what you enjoy. And don't worry about how much money you'll make. Like, you can make it work. You know, you want to be a chocolatier, fine, whatever.
A chocolate connoisseur.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Right, this one is, oh god, their name goes off. Renee, the Dark Pony Knight.
Oh yes, of course.
Kai, are you planning to at one point make a Resident Evil comic or manga dub?
Dub? Actually, I looked into that. I was planning on doing some, since I've narrated audiobooks, I thought it would be fun to do sort of like the way I did the narration videos for the files. I was going to like read some of the book, and I looked it up, and that is copyright infringement, and I can get in trouble. So unfortunately I can't, because I thought it'd be really fun, especially for the comics and stuff, to like have like, you know, different voice actors come in and do the voices. But yeah, unfortunately I can't do that legally. Sorry.
This is by Lanissa Black again. Are you going to stream Disaster Report 4 soon? Also, when will you do the next Resident Evil Outbreak community stream?
Outbreak will just happen anytime I feel like it. Oh, I have to make a thumbnail. Maybe it'll even happen tomorrow. But what was the first question? Sorry.
Are you going to stream Disaster Report 4 soon?
So I haven't played Disaster Report 4 because I don't have it, but I really want to stream Disaster Report 1 because that's like where it all started, and it's such a janky game, but like you can see what they were going for. It's basically like Resident Evil, but instead of zombies and monsters, it's like natural disasters. So you're running and like earthquakes are happening and the ground is like falling, and like it's really cool.
That sounds familiar now that you mention it. Right. It says here, what will you be streaming next? Maybe Outbreak.
I don't know, because I'm right at the end of the month, and then we're gonna go into Tomb Raider month. So I as soon as we're done with this, it's one of the things I have to do today is figure out what I'm streaming. So we'll see. You guys will already know the answer to this because this is gonna be in the future or whatever.
Next one is from Lanessa Black again. Kai, will you play or stream Among Us with your community? I'd love to play Among Us with you. Me, Graf, Corey, Rob.
You guys have been peer pressuring me to play that fucking game for like a year or more.
It's funny for 5 minutes. That is the only
That's
issue.
exactly what I think of it. Like, it's the same with Genshin Impact. Everyone was like, play it, and I played it.
That one comes in waves like Stardew Valley does. It goes away, then it comes right back when it comes up with an update.
I think I just haven't gotten far enough, But I am excited about Among Us in VR because I fucking love VR, Oculus. Oh my god. So, like, maybe I'll consider it. We'll see.
Okay. Right. For Diamond. Oh, lovely. What will be your dream vacation and what is the reason?
Oh.
I want to go. Well, you can answer it as well. You could, obviously. But, there's so many places I want to travel to, but I am a very anxious person who doesn't have any money. So that kind of limits me, But I'd love to go to Asia, like, for food purposes, mainly. But obviously sightseeing, because I love watching, I've forgotten his name. I'm not going to remember anyone's name with these YouTubers. But he goes around Asia and goes to these street markets, and it's like cheapest chips there. It's ridiculous, and the food just looks amazing. Like, you might, have diarrhea, but it's great for 10 seconds while you're eating it. I'd love to go to America, obviously, to see you. Have to do that in person, like, after I die. I'd love to go somewhere to see the Northern Lights. That's, like, always been, like, a small dream of mine. Just the idea of it, like, it just sounds amazing looking at the sky all colourful. Like, who doesn't want to see that?
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
New York for the publishing, like, it's unreal. Publishing in New York, it's like the heart of it for sure. And obviously, snow, like, it's like pretty. I know it's those.
Oh my god.
Best, like like lots of places, but like I keep seeing like Instagram photos of New York with snow, and it's beautiful. Obviously go to France and see my main man Corey. I've got to. I put it in there purely because he told me to. No other reason.
Wow, so you got a lot of travel planned.
Yeah, I'd love to travel. There's just things in the way of it, obviously.
As you're in the bath with a glass of wine, just mascara running, just like...
Yeah, that's me after this stream. Yeah, there's so much I want to do. Honestly, money is just one big problem. If I had all the money in the world, oh my god, I would not be living the small life that I live, that is for sure. Not that I'm not happy with my life. I feel like I just need to venture out a lot more. That's kind of my bucket list of things.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah. What about you? Is there anywhere that you'd love to go that you haven't been to?
I don't know, because I kind of hate traveling. It's not that I don't like being places. I hate going places. I hate flying. I hate, like, driving. I just want to, like, teleport and be there.
I'm not a fan of that either, really.
But I'm with you on Asia. Like, oh my god, the food and the service in Japan. I really want to go back to Tokyo at some point, and I'm going to use Ink Ribbon as an excuse to do it. And I know that I've been there before, so that's stupid. But I also want to go to New York. I've never really been on the East Coast of America. I don't know. I'm a city guy, so, like, places where there's, like, a lot of nerdy, cool stuff to look at. Like, I love science museums and all that stuff, but you can find all that in major cities, so I'm not picky. Like, as long as...
You'd like to go to Amsterdam.
Oh, fuck yeah. Take my clothes off and get high and just be like, woo!
There's literally, you go to bars and they've just got pipes there, and you just...
I'm going to come back with a hangover and an STD.
Exactly.
Worth it. I'm just kidding.
And there's the Museum of Sex as well. Like, that looks pretty cool, won't lie.
Yeah, I'd want to be like how those girls are in the window, I'd be like, move, like, and then I'd be like, yeah, check these out. Woo!
Like a stripper from Saints Row or GTA.
Yeah, they like walk by and they're like filming, like, what is he doing?
Oh my god, is that the Ink Ribbon YouTuber? Can you imagine?
That would be a fun.
That would definitely be something you do for a day, innit? Like, be one of those window girls. I could, like,
I would so be down.
do that.
Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I'd be like, yeah. Anyway, next question.
For Kai, how many games are you developing as an indie developer? And for your indie horror game, out of 100%, what is the project's completion, roughly, on animation, textures, and programming?
Oof. So, making games is hard. My goal is to make a good game, and my horror game, Dead River, is like, I want to take my time with it, so it will come whenever it's ready. But I would say it's like 30% done. It's got a lot of work to do. It's just, my environment artist got a job at a studio. Another artist is like just doing it in spare time. It's basically just me and my programmer. So in the meantime, we're working on other games. So I've got one game that's like a brick breaker game, and that's really kind of for my OnlyFans, but I'm going to release a safe for work version. I'm working on a game that I'm going to be announcing soon. Hopefully that's called Trash Island. And it's about getting an island that's just completely destroyed with trash and cleaning it up and turning it into a paradise, and you start to like bring back wildlife, and it's very environmental friendly. And I got in touch with Team C's and said, can I officially work with you guys, so that every sale of that game, $1 gets donated to Team C's, which means every person who buys a game, there's 1 pound of trash being removed from the ocean. So by playing a game about environmentalism, you're literally helping the environment. So
speaking of that, I have now been recycling plastic bottles properly. So, the packaging around them and the little plastic rim that stops the lid from going down too far, those are not recyclable.
Yeah.
Just the plastic bottle is. So
yeah, it's all stupid.
Like, you don't just throw it away and think that it's getting recycled, because it won't be.
No, the images that I've looked up researching for this game have made me so upset. I mean, dead sea turtles, like sharks with like a plastic thing wrapped around their head, and they can't move properly. Like, it's really sad. Like, we're really fucking up the planet.
Got metal straws now for the very reason of that video that went viral. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I hate
anyway,
just with it.
And then so that's 2 games. Oh, and then the third game is a visual novel prequel to my horror game, because it's taking so long and there's so much backstory that I wrote that I thought people would be into that. It's kind of only for people who like reading, so yeah. But that's 4 games. Thank you for asking. It's always nice when people care about that, because that's my passion. Oh,
that's sweet. I mean, that's sincerely, by the way. That sounded really sarcastic, didn't it?
You're like, that's cute. Anyway.
Which Resident Evil character would you want as the main character in the next new Resident Evil game? I think we've just sort of discussed this one before, but for me, has to be with Jill. Yeah.
I knew you were going to say it. That's why I was like, I have to say it at the same time. But yeah, Jill's been missing for way too long, and like, I love Leon, but he needs to go on vacation.
He needs to retire.
Seriously.
And then come back as like a Daddy Leon.
All right, so we both agree. Jill.
Yes. And I'm down for like any time frame. It could be timed like way back when, and like have a whole new storyline we didn't even know about, or it could be timed now when she's like older and like, like a fine wine. Doesn't bother me. Just give me some Jill, please.
Yeah.
And give me the RE3 OG outfit the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, not a skort. Which, by the way, I recently so I follow a lot of like 90s Instagrams or whatever, and there was this one recently that was like, wow, in the 90s tube tops were all the rage, and it showed all of these celebrity women wearing tube tops just like Jill's, and I'm like, hey, so I might end up doing a video of some kind mentioning that, but just throwing it out there. Everyone shits on her RE3 outfit. I think it's sexy, and it looks great. She's like
I think it's sexier than all the nude mods that have been released. Like, there's something about showing but not showing all that is just sexier than no clothes, 100%.
No, and I always thought it was sexy, but in a tasteful way. It's definitely probably the most provocative, like, default outfit of any character. But, you know, she's got the sweater around her waist. She's got boots. I was, you know, young when I first saw her like that, but I always thought she looked very, like, womanly, like, you know, like she's going shopping and she's confident and strong. I've never like been like, oh, I bet her boobs could fall out. Like I never saw it that way. And I know that realistically that's what would happen. She'd be running and just a titty would pop out. But like,
well, it depends which kind of a top you get. You get ones with the little like rubber things that stick to your skin. So maybe not. You never know.
I don't know what fashion was like for women in the 90s. I barely even had fashion in my own life. So
I was still a child, so I don't know.
All right, one more question.
Okay, we pick one for the last one. What is your favorite puzzle from the Resident Evil games?
Oh, that's a good question. I really like a lot of the puzzles. Favorite puzzle. I really like the water puzzle in Resident Evil 3. I know a lot of people hate it, but it always made complete sense to me.
Can you refresh that for me? Honestly, there's so many puzzles.
That's the one where there's like 3 rows of like A, B, C, and you have to like get them to like move around and like make the same pattern as the. And then do, like it makes this little song. It's randomized, which I think is what pisses a lot of people off, because all the puzzles in Resident Evil 3 are randomized except for one. The sound puzzle in the clock tower where you have to make the song sound correct or not out of tune. There's people who are tone deaf and they couldn't figure that one out. Like, so they made it the same every time, but every other puzzle is randomized in Resident Evil 3.
Well, I was going to say that's like for nostalgic reasons. That puzzle was my favorite because I just. You know when you look back on like your childhood and things just flash at you? It's like one of those things. Like Code Veronica and Resident Evil 3 are just one of those things for me.
Actually, now that you mentioned that, I remember a really great memory with Resident Evil 2. I thought I was like so smart. I didn't know you could push the statues, and if you leave the game running, it like does that little demo where you just see the characters like walking around or whatever. And I saw Claire and Leon like push the statue, and I was like, oh. And then I read the description, and I figured out where to put the statues next to the STARS office. And my little 11-year-old self was just like, oh my god, like I'm so cool. I figured it out, and I was so proud of myself.
The jewels are like optional, aren't they? Right.
That one you do need, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. I do. I get so confused by all the games sometimes. Like if I play a game and I like speedrun it, I learn it like that. But like after a while, I get confused.
Tell me. But
yeah, I don't want to keep that one as like my favorite because that is just like nostalgia reasons. But like my actual, I don't know. I really liked a lot of RE4 puzzles. Some of them were
I was
like,
gonna say the color one. That one was fun.
They're fun. If they're fun and easy, then you've won me over. If they are fun and like difficult, cool, but you didn't need to be difficult. That's how I see it. Like I know some people like Silent Hill hardcore fans of the like extra riddle difficulty love those games, but I'm like riddled difficulty is not my thing.
Well, that's the thing from like a game design standpoint. It's really hard to design good puzzles because you have to have that balance of like it's like not too easy, not too hard, and like you have to be able to have the player figure it out, because if you don't drop the right hints, they like like I said, like not knowing I could push the statues, like the game had to like tell me I could push them.
I was definitely a Google fan for a lot of the games, but like
I didn't have Google back in the 90s. I had to just figure that shit out on my own.
I try and figure it out now, that's for sure. Like I try my best. I'm not good with clicking with things. Like if someone gives me a riddle, I would be there forever. Like I really would not.
You don't enjoy that stuff. I know you well enough to know that. I think a good puzzle in any game is one that it's challenging the first time, but once you get it, every time after that is easy. I hate the puzzles that every time you're like, oh god, I don't remember how to do this, like, do I have to do this? Like, for me, my least favorite Resident Evil puzzle is also in Resident Evil 3. It's the one where you have to put the 3 gems in the clock.
Yes. Oh my god, I hate that one.
I literally just randomly guess every time.
Yeah.
Well, because it's randomized.
Is that what it is? Because, like, I remember looking and, like, I don't understand how this puzzle actually works.
No, like I barely understand. Like, I know that, like, one of them does, like, a couple... it depends on... So what's randomized is each picture has a different time that's tied to it, and then also combined with each of the 3 different, like, obsidian or amber or whatever, like, it'll do, like, 1 hour forward or 3 hours backwards or, like, whatever. And I'm like, how do you fucking... People who can do that puzzle every time are amazing.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. I hate it.
I don't think there's a puzzle that I hate because I just Googled. So it don't bother me.
No, I'm the same way. I just, like, I'm like, okay. I'll try a puzzle, but if it takes too long and I start to get angry, I'm just like, nope. And just like, I'm going to watch someone do it.
I'm definitely one for, like, collecting items to solve things. That's one of my favourite puzzles to do, rather than just work this out and then you can carry on. I like to find items, like, oh, you can get through that door, or if you go to this area and do this and do that, then you'll find the key for that door. Like that. It's literally Resident Evil in one.
Yeah,
but, like,
that's Resident Evil bread and butter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, and it's funny because, like, there's some puzzles that as a game designer I now understand when I didn't before. So, like, that Resident Evil 4 puzzle, when you have to in the cemetery, when you have to do the 2 buttons, either 4 or 3 moves, and you have to light up the right ones.
Oh, I like that one.
I hated that one for the longest time, but that's one of the puzzles in my game. And now, because I'm so familiar with having designing it, I was like, okay, I get it now. And now I play and it's no problem, but I don't know. Some puzzles are harder for different people, I think. Like how they said, like, the tone deaf people with the sound puzzles.
Yeah. There's a couple in Genshin that I quite like. Like, there's these rocks with, like, patterns on, and each time you hit them, it lights up. So you've got 3 on each, basically, like a clover. Does clover have 3 or 4?
It depends. Both.
Okay, well, so there's 3 like leaves that you have to light up on each of these squares, and if you hit them, they can light up the one that you hit and another one, and you have to do it so that they all light up. So you have to figure out which ones turns which ones off, things like that. Like, I don't mind that.
Like the lights out kind of puzzle. Yeah,
like those sort of ones you could just genuinely spam and get it. Like, I don't mind that, but if you really figure it out, you can do it a lot easier. Stuff like that, like little easy ones with little challenge.
Like Silent Hill 3, where you literally have to know Shakespearean, like, quotes to, like, figure out the first puzzle in the game. Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, people are crazy.
Yeah, I'm glad that's an option and not default. Can you imagine?
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
All right, everyone. And that is where we're going to end today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Diamond, for being such a good co-host.
Thank you.
For today. For now. No, I'm just kidding. Cool. All right. Well, be sure to check out all our other episodes. And if you like this, click the like button and subscribe, because we're trying to get this podcast monetized and set up and ready to go. But yeah, thanks so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.